Live today. Barbara Jenks here from Bright Fulcrum, where we talk about the three pillars of communication: word choice, awareness, and listening. Last week, I talked a little bit about awareness. This week, I'm going to dive in and start to talk about word choice. As you might imagine, all three pillars have so many things, so many different topics of conversation. I'm not going to run out of things to say, that's for sure. I want to keep these lives down to 5 minutes each. So I'm going to be quick and give you little tips and tools that you can start applying right now. These are all tips and tricks that you can use in a natural way in whatever communication style you have. It's being more aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And to make sure you are clear about what you mean, while also making sure that what you're hearing the other person say is something that you're clear about, or do you need to ask some questions to get clarity? So let's get started. The first thing to be aware of when you're talking to your children or your husband or wife or partner or your teammates at work, your colleagues, other managers, this applies to everyone that you're in a conversation with. The first thing that you're going to want to do is be aware of generalizations. So that's words like always, never, every time. Things like that, those words are very broad. And I can say always, and my listener is not going to know what that means. Always? Does that mean every time, all day, all night, constantly? Or does it really mean once in a while? I had to stop my own thoughts a few days ago when I was telling myself that, oh my gosh, that person always does XYZ. When the reality was, they only do it every so often, but it frustrates me every time. So that's something that I need to work on. We'll talk about frustration in a later reel. But I'm using that example to underscore that when we are talking to ourselves in those broad terms, we're not clear to ourselves. And if we're not clear to ourselves, when we go to converse with somebody else, we're not going to be clear. And for me, because I've been working on my own communication for a long time, I am more aware now when somebody says to me, so and so always, right? This comes up for managers, comes up often. Tom is always late. He's always late. And I'm stuck doing the extra work. That's a typical example. Sitting down in that moment and having a conversation with that employee about what does he really mean or she really mean by always. Is it every single day, every single time? What kind of extra work are you having to do because of it? Asking for those sorts of examples, helping the employee get clear about what they mean, helping them find their own clarity so that they can start to relax and come down a bit off of their emotional, he's always doing this or that, or she is always doing this or that, can make a massive change in that employee's life. Not only in the moment, but going forward, they're going to expect you to start asking those questions of them when they come to you with these grand, sweeping statements. And that's going to help them get clear about what they mean. But all of that starts, at least for me, it starts with me getting clear on my own thoughts first. When I call myself out on, when I say those broad words every time, never, forever, as in that meeting took forever today. You know, it's just a way for us to think about what other words can we use instead. Changing that little bit will change so many things in our lives. Being aware of your word choice as well is really, really important. So, for example, when I say to myself or to you, I'll try to do it tomorrow. Well, what does try really do for us? It doesn't really do much of anything. Try is a half-hearted attempt. Whereas if I say that I will do it by Friday, and I have a date that I'm going to do it by, and I'm specific and clear, I am more likely to actually do it by Friday. If I say, oh, today's just a bad day, is it really the whole day? Do I want to cast that cloud over my entire day? Or am I better served if I am going to say to myself and to others, this morning was a rough day this morning, but I'm starting to work through it and it feels much better already. Because that's the reality. I rarely have a bad day that's a bad day all day, every day. Finally, I'm going to leave you with the idea of using powerful action words when we are talking to ourselves or others. So, for instance, we want to make a choice about something. We want to decide and have certainty around it. We don't want maybe. We don't want try. We want to be mandatory. We want to be now. Those are the words that motivate me to get it done on time, and to get it done well. To say, I'll start soon, that's not really saying much of anything at all. To say, I've already started, I'm already in motion. Even if it's I've already started putting down concepts for my next LinkedIn Live. That's better than, for me, it's better because it keeps me moving forward. It's better than, oh, I'm going to get started soon. That's too wishy-washy for me. Anyway, I hope some of these tips have helped you today. I know that, like I said, there is so much more that I will be sharing with you going forward, but I just wanted to dip my toe in and get started. Some of you who saw my live last week, you know it was my first live. So I'm just trying it out and seeing what happens. I would love your feedback. I would love to know if there's any topics about communication that you would like me to expand on. Be happy to do that. Anyway, for now, I'm going to sign off and say, so long. Have a great rest of your day.